March 18th, 1990. Boston, Massachusetts. Just after midnight, two men dressed as police officers approach a side door of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. They tell the night guard they are responding to a disturbance call. He buzzes them in. Within minutes, he is handcuffed in the basement, and so is the second guard on duty that night. The museum is theirs. For the next 81 minutes, the two men move through the galleries with no one to stop them. They are not professional art handlers. They cut canvases from their frames with knives, some of them badly, damaging the paintings as they go. They take 13 works in total, a Vermeer, 3 Rembrandts, including his only known seascape, 5 drawings by Degas, a Manet, a bronze eagle finial pulled from the top of a Napoleonic flag. Then, at 2:45 a.m., they load everything into a car and drive away. The motion detectors recorded their path through the building, room by room, but the museum's security cameras were not connected to any outside monitoring service. No one outside the building saw them enter. No one saw them leave. By morning, the day staff arrived to find both guards still tied up and the frames on the walls empty. Some of the frames are left hanging exactly where the paintings once were, because under the terms of Isabella Stewart Gardner's will, nothing in the museum can be moved, added, or replaced. So the empty frames stay. They are still hanging today, decades later, as placeholders for paintings that never came back. It becomes, within days, the largest art theft in world history, and the value climbs every year that follows. Investigators lean towards 2 theories almost immediately. Either this was a sophisticated operation carried out by people who understood art, security systems, and how to disappear, or it was something cruder, a smash and grab by local criminals who had no real plan for what to do with paintings that famous. The physical evidence points toward the second. A professional thief does not hack at a canvas with a blade, tearing corners and leaving fragments behind in the frame. A professional does not take a Rembrandt seascape and a self-portrait, but leave behind other, easier, equally valuable pieces nearby. What the thieves took reads less like a shopping list from an expert and more like a rushed decision made under adrenaline in the dark, with a getaway clock running. The FBI opens an investigation almost immediately, but the trail runs cold fast. There is no ransom note. No underground buyer surfaces. No painting turns up at auction because a Vermeer or a Rembrandt of that size and fame cannot simply be sold. It is too recognizable, its provenance too well documented, its image too widely circulated, which meant, from the very first days, that whoever took the paintings likely had no real market for them. They had become, in effect, worthless to sell and priceless to hold. Over the years that follow, the case draws in a rotating cast of suspects. Investigators look hard at the Boston criminal underworld, the same networks tied to organized crime figures like Whitey Bulger's associates. One name that surfaces repeatedly is Bobby Donati, a small-time criminal with ties to the mob, known for an obsession with expensive things and a habit of talking about pulling off a major heist. Donati is murdered in 1991, just over a year after the theft. His body found in the trunk of a car in Revere, Massachusetts. He is never charged, and he never gets the chance to explain what he might have known. Another name is Miles Connor Jr., a career art thief already serving time when the heist happened, who had stolen from the Gardner Museum once before, years earlier, and had reportedly discussed targeting it again with associates. Connor has an alibi. He was in prison the night of the robbery, but investigators believe he may have planned it and handed the job to others while he was locked away. He is questioned repeatedly over the years. He always denies direct involvement, and no charges against him ever stick to the case itself. Then there is a theory tying the theft to the Irish mob and to a criminal named Bobby Garante, who investigators believe may have received some of the paintings after the original thieves were unable to move them. Guarante reportedly passed at least one piece to a main associate before his death in 2004. That associate's widow later hands over a hand-drawn list of the museum's stolen works, along with an estimated value, though no actual painting ever accompanies it. Every lead like this ends the same way. A name, a rumor, a small piece of physical or circumstantial connection, and then silence. In 1997, the museum posts a reward of $1 million for information leading to the safe return of the works. No questions asked about who has them. It is raised years later to $5 million, then to $10 million, one of the largest rewards ever offered for the return of stolen property, still active decades on. Because of this reward and the statute of limitations on the theft itself running out years ago, investigators believe someone could return the paintings today without ever facing prosecution for the original crime. And still, nothing comes back. In 2013, the FBI announces a breakthrough. They believe they know who stole the paintings, members of a criminal organization based in the Mid-Atlantic region and New England, with some connection to Philadelphia and Connecticut. They will not name names publicly, citing an ongoing investigation, but they state with unusual confidence that the case has moved past its coldest years. They also reveal that the FBI believes the paintings were moved through Connecticut and Philadelphia in the years after the theft, in an attempt to sell them, an attempt that appears to have failed. What nobody knew was whether the paintings survived that journey intact, or whether they were damaged or destroyed along the way. Art of that age and fragility does not tolerate careless storage. A canvas rolled improperly, kept in a damp basement or a hot attic for 30 years, can crack, warp, or disintegrate long before anyone with the will to return it gets the chance. Several of the suspects the FBI has connected to the case over the years are now dead. William Youngworth, a Boston area antiques dealer who claimed in the 1990s to have knowledge of the painting's location and even arranged to show a reporter what he said was a genuine Rembrandt as proof, was never able to produce anything that authorities considered credible. Robert Gentile, an aging Connecticut mobster with ties to the Philadelphia crime family investigators focused on, becomes one of the most closely watched figures in the case in its later years. Investigators search his home multiple times. In one search, they find a hand-drawn list referencing the stolen works and their black market values, along with police uniforms similar to those the original thieves wore. Gentile insists he knows nothing about the actual theft or the painting's whereabouts. He fails multiple polygraph tests on the subject, according to investigators, but is never charged in connection with the robbery itself. He dies in 2021, taking whatever he may have known with him. By the time of his death, nearly every major suspect the FBI has publicly tied to the case is gone. The 81 minutes inside the museum in March of 1990 have now outlasted almost everyone connected to them. The museum itself has never stopped waiting. Anne Hawley, the director at the time of the theft, spent decades pursuing leads personally, working with investigators long after the FBI trail went quiet in the press. The museum's current security chief still fields tips from the public, most of them dead ends, some of them elaborate hoaxes, occasionally one detailed enough to warrant another look. Every few years, a new claim surfaces. A storage unit, a family attic, a deathbed confession passed second-hand through a lawyer. None has ever produced a painting. The empty frames remain on the walls exactly as Isabella Stewart Gardner's will demands, which means visitors today walk through the same rooms the thieves did, past the same gaps where a Vermeer and 3 Rembrandts should hang. The museum has effectively built the absence into the collection itself, a permanent exhibit of what was lost. Some art crime investigators believe the paintings still exist somewhere, carefully hidden, insurance for whoever holds them, too dangerous to sell and too valuable to destroy. Others believe time and neglect have already finished what the thieves started, and that at least some of the canvases are gone for good, ruined by decades in the wrong conditions. No one can say for certain which is true, because no one holding the answer has ever come forward. The reward now stands at $10 million. The empty frames are still empty.